Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our August 22nd land use meeting of the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County. We're going to start this meeting with our invocation and then our pledge. Mary Beth McSwain is going to be leading the invocation this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm a pastor at Peace Presbyterian Church and happy to be here with you. I wanted us to begin by reflecting on the Gospel of Mark, chapter 7, when we're told into the region of the Decapolis. There some people brought to him a man who was deaf and could hardly talk, and they begged Jesus to place his hand on him. Jesus took him aside away from the crowd. He put his fingers into the man's ears. Then he spit and touched the man's tongue. He looked up to heaven and with a deep sigh said, "Ephphatha," which in Aramaic means be opened. At this, the man's ears were opened, his tongue was loosened, and he began to speak plainly. So as we think about that, Jesus didn't just cure this man. Healing wasn't just curing from an ailment. He didn't say be healed. He said be opened. So with that in mind, let us pray. We thank you, God, for this opportunity to be faithful today. We do pray for healing for those who are hurt and pain, struggling, need help, need that representation. We pray, God, that we wouldn't just be people who are healed or people who provide healing, but we pray that you would open us, that we would be opened, open our ears, open our mouths, open our eyes, our hearts, so that we can be faithful to you today and in this meeting and in this county. We pray this in your name. Amen. Thank you.
And I will ask Commissioner Ray Turner to lead us in the pledge.
The American pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any updates to the agenda this morning?
Good morning, Madam Chair. There is one. After the update was produced last night around 5 o'clock, there's one update to add language to the Northwest Sector GDP zoning ordinance for stipulations A5 and A7. This concludes the additions.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to citizen comments on future agenda items. So these are items that are not on today's agenda, but that may come before the board at a future meeting. Do we have any citizen comments on future agenda items, things that are not on today's agenda? Okay, if there are no citizen comments on future agenda items, we will move on to our consent agenda. We have item 11 on our consent agenda, which is adoption of resolution R24-174 for Invest 97L. That's extending our state of emergency. I think that we do have staff that would like to do a presentation on some things related to that. So could we, am I able to pull as chair? Yeah, so can we pull that from the consent agenda? Okay.
you're the big boss.
Okay. And so now do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item 11?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Now can everyone cast their votes on our consent agenda minus item 11? Or actually, hold on. There we go. It's up. And should we just do it by voice vote?
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor of approving our consent agenda minus item 11, please say aye. Oh, there we go. And the motion passes 5-0 with Commissioner Ron absent. Now we will move on to item 11.
Good morning. Jody Fisk, Director of Public Safety. Obviously, we are asking to extend the local state of emergency. We've still got folks that are going into the Disaster Recovery Center, the Lakewood Ranch Library. Damage assessments are continuing. We are continuing to work with FEMA and FDEM on those joint assessments. Did want to address, we did receive the reports last night of the localized flooding. We did have teams out. There was some standing water on the road we put signage up. So if there are any questions about that, I can take some of them now. But other than that, we are just continuing to push forward with recovery from Hurricane Debbie. All right.
Okay. Hi.
Good morning, Commissioners. Evan Pilichowski, Deputy County Administrator. I did want to give you a little bit of an update from the rainfall from last night that we received. But first and foremost, I do want to state unequivocally that the dam and Lake Manatee continue to function as designed. They are structurally sound. There's no risk of any sort of breach of the dam. So just want to make sure that is very clear. So yesterday we received the second day in a row of a very significant rainfall in and around the dam and the watershed. There's widespread areas where we received 3 to 4 inches and isolated areas where we received 6 to 8 inches of rainfall, all in about 36 hours. So while the dam, and I should say the soils are saturated, the stormwater ponds in the area are full, the culverts are running at capacity. So when we have that significant rainfall on top of a very saturated stormwater system, that water really doesn't have anywhere to go but continue to run over land. So I know there's been a lot of reports. There's been some flooding along Waterline Road, Dam Road. That's part of the system just being saturated and overloaded. So moving to the dam itself is not a flood control structure, but we do try to provide some relief and some buffering of the Manatee River flows with the dam where we can. Since the Hurricane Debbie rolled through, we have maintained the secondary spillway at an elevation of 38 feet. And what that essentially means is that any flow that comes into the dam and into the lake flows through without any storage capacity available. So the flow into the river, into the lake, and out of the lake are equal. It is just a situation where we have no ability to store any additional water in Lake Manatee. We are looking at some temporary measures at the secondary spillway. We hope to be able to provide some level of buffering of the stream and the river flows through Lake Manatee. And those efforts will be continuing today. The specific impacts last night that I'm sure many of you are aware of, around 7 o'clock, we became aware that flows in the river leading into the lake were starting to increase rapidly with the rainfall that we received, with flows around 3,500 CFS. At that flow rate, we know that there are a series of property owners, about 14 property owners downstream of Lake Manatee, that have impacts. So we made direct communication with all 14 of those property owners, and then shortly thereafter, the flows continued to increase rapidly, where we were looking at 5,000 to 6,000 CFS. So we again made contact with those property owners to let them know what was happening, that water was coming downstream, but it is not an active release. It's simply we are monitoring the flows in the Manatee River leading into Lake Manatee to at least provide some prior notification to those properties where we know that there have been historic impacts. At 6,000 CFS, that is below the level where we expect to see flooding of the Rye Road Bridge. We start to see some flooding concerns there at 7,000 CFS, so we were monitoring that very closely. And it was just after that second notification that we made to property owners that we became aware of a larger conversation in social media with a number of other property owners beyond those 14 that had observed flooding from that rainfall. At that point, we pushed out a message and an update to social media to state what the condition was, that we were monitoring, and that we would send another notification if we expected to see any further downstream impacts. It was around a couple hours later that we did get reports that there was standing water in the road, Waterline Road and Upper Manatee River Road. So we did push out Public Works crews to barricade the road and close those, and a message went out to social media to alert residents of that situation. In the short term, we're trying to use this as an opportunity also to improve and what can we do better. We are looking at rolling out very quickly an after-hours number, something similar to what we do in utilities for public works concerns, so that we can make sure that we're giving the residents an avenue to be able to get that messaging out. We're also looking at bringing some sandbags out where necessary to those residents downstream of the dam. And we are looking at least in the short term, lowering the target level of Lake Manatee below 38 feet. Now, the primary function of Lake Manatee, as you all know, is our primary drinking water source for county residents. Maintaining an elevation below 38 feet, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. We need to make sure that we are continuing to provide drinking water to the county and storing water leading up to the dry season, but we do believe that lowering that elevation a little bit right now would be a prudent action given where we are in the rainy season, that we should have enough time to fill that back up as we lead into the dry season, and that would be able to provide a little bit of buffering capacity to the flows that are coming into Lake Manatee to provide a way to more slowly release water downstream. And last, we're moving forward with an effort. It's a Dam 101 concept where we would bring members of the media in to let them see the dam, inform them of how the dam operates, so that when we have reporting of issues associated with Lake Manatee and the dam, we can ensure that we have the most informed reporting that we can to make sure we are communicating and the media is communicating as accurate of information as possible for the residents, so they understand what the situation is and we do not cause any panic from reports that the dam is at risk of breach when that is simply not true.
Thank you very much. Evan, could I ask you one quick question? So just to be clear, there is no release of water from the dam. Is that right? There was no choice
Correct.
to release water from the dam.
Correct. So the flow into Lake Manatee simply flows through and out of the reservoir. So it's not an active release. It's just simply flowing through.
So it's an automatic release based on the level of water in the dam at this point. It's going down the spillway.
At 38 feet, we have no storage capacity in the reservoir, so anything flowing in is flowing out.
Thank you very much. Okay, and now can we have a motion to adopt? There we go. Our motion was made by Mr. Turner, or Commissioner Turner, and seconded by myself. If we could all vote. And that is approved by a vote of 5-0 with Commissioner Ron absent. Now let's move on to our advertised public hearings. Oh, and actually before we do that, anybody who is going to be anticipate speaking at any of these quasi-judicial hearings needs to be sworn in by the clerk.
Swear or affirm that the factual statements and representations you will present to the board are truthful and accurate.
Thank you very much. All right, so advertise public hearings.
Item number 5, PDR 2337, ZP, State Road 70, Multifamily Bradenton Project LLC. This item is being continued to September 5th, 2024 at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter as may be heard.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the continuance by Commissioner Cruz, seconded by Commissioner Turner. Could we all vote now, please?
We have to open for public comment.
Oh, could we please open for public comment on, just on the decision to continue the hearing of number 5, SR 70 multifamily project? Do we have any public comment? All right, seeing no public comment, let's go ahead and cast our votes now. And that is approved 5-0 with Commissioner Ron absent. All right, moving on to number 6.
Item number 6 is PDMU 1802GR North River Self-Storage. And this is amending and restating zoning ordinance number PDMU 1802ZG to revise the general development plan with the following changes. One is to construct of a mini warehouse self-storage facility with just under 98,000 square feet and accessory outdoor storage, which replaces the previously approved assisted living facility serving up to 179 residents and retaining 42,500 square feet of medical offices for a total of 140,481 square feet of non-residential uses. And the second is removal of the North Central overlay standards. The approximately 15-acre site is zone PDMU and generally located at 660 feet, north of the intersection of Mulholland Road and Fort Hammer Road. And your staff presenter, should you need one, is Ms. Laura Gonzalez.
Would anyone like a presentation on this item? Okay, does anyone have ex parte communication with regard to this item? All right. Do we have any questions, any discussion? No? All right. Do we have any public comment on this item? Seeing no public comment, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Van Ostenbridge, seconded by Commissioner Turner. If we could all cast our votes now. And it is approved by a vote of 5-0 with Commissioner Ron absent. Moving on to items 7 and 8, which are going to be opened and heard together with separate motions taken.
Item number 7, ordinance 2430, Northwest Sector DRI number 26. An amended and restated development order for the Northwest Sector Development of Regional Impact to approve the following changes to the Master Development Plan, which is Map H, and Development Order. The first is to revise Map H to change land use from commercial to residential for a parcel located at the southeast corner of Lakewood Ranch Boulevard and 44th Avenue East. The second is an exchange of 88 single-family residential units and 124,000 square feet of commercial space to a total of 606 multifamily residential units, pursuant to the approved land use equivalency matrix. The third is allocate a new access point to a commercial parcel located on the west side of Lakewood Ranch Boulevard and south of Gatewood Drive. The Northwest Sector DRI is generally located east of Lakewood Ranch Boulevard and south of 44th Avenue East, west of Lorraine Road, and north of State Road 70. And then item number 8, the companion ordinance is PDMU 0519G, revision 10. This is amending and restating ordinance PDMU 0519ZG, revision 9, to approve changes to the general development plan in the ordinance with 5 requests. 1, to utilize 88 single-family residential units that have not been allocated to specific parcels to exchange for 125 multifamily residential units, again, pursuant to the land use equivalency matrix. 2, to relocate 4,300 square feet of commercial floor area from parcel D to parcel B. The third request, exchange 124,000 square feet of commercial space for 481 multifamily residential units. Request 4, add a personal wireless service facility as permitted use on parcel E and amend the GDP to add the site access point to parcel E. And lastly, other amendments for internal consistency.
Does anyone need a presentation on item 7 or item 8? All right. Do we have any ex parte communication on item 7 or item 8? Is there anyone who would like to make public comment with regard to item 7 or item 8?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. My name is Ed Vogler, Madam Chairman, members of the board. I'm making this comment because we're the applicant. Katie and I are the representatives, and we've worked with the neighborhood to work on these new stipulations, and the new stipulations have been included in your package. But the county attorney kindly asked us to add some language, and it says in stipulation A5 and A7, Manatee County shall have no legal obligation to enforce stipulations A5 and A7 as they are private contractual obligations. And I didn't notice that in the update memo, and I made a commitment to the neighborhood, and I made a commitment to the county attorney's office, and so for the record, we'd like to make sure these stipulations are in the approval ordinance.
And, Madam Chair, those were entered into the record when we started the meeting.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Okay.
Just in an abundance of commitment.
It is appreciated. Thank you very much, Mr. Vogler. And so do we have a motion to approve item 7? All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Van Ostenbridge, seconded by Commissioner Turner, if everyone could cast their votes. And it is approved by a vote of 5-0 with Commissioner Ron absent. Moving on to our vote on item 8. All right. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Van Ostenbridge, seconded by Commissioner Turner. If we could all cast our votes. It is approved by a vote of 5-0 with Commissioner Ron absent. Moving on to item number 9, and this was originally presentation scheduled. It's now presentation upon request.
Correct. Item number 9 is Z2405 Groover rezone. This is a rezone of approximately 2.61 acres, generally located at the southeast corner of 17th Street West and 2nd Avenue West in Palmetto. And while this is on presentations upon request, Ms. Rachel would like to introduce the planner for this project just because this is her first day that she would have been in front of you. So I'll turn it over to Rachel.
Thank you. Rachel Layton for staff. I have been sworn. I wanted to introduce you to Alicia Henry. She's been with Development Services now for a year. She started as our zoning technician, and she's been promoted to a Planner 1 recently. And she's just starting to have cases that are coming forward to hearing. A few of those did end up either on presentations requested, instead of presentations scheduled. So this is her first day where she may be giving you some background on a project. So I wanted to welcome her. She does have a bachelor's degree in planning from Florida Atlantic University. We're very happy to have her on our team.
Well, congratulations on your promotion.
wow.
And hopefully we're not too hard on you.
Thank you.
Would anyone like a presentation on this item, item number 9?
I think I just heard some audience members saying that they would like a presentation.
Okay,
So applicant.
let's do it.
All right.
Okay. Before we get started with that, do we have any ex parte communication on this item? Okay, thank you.
And actually, hi, my name is Bob Gauze with Gauze Associates. I have been sworn, joined here also by Cog Grimes, the legal counsel for the owner. And actually, I'm going to try and keep this presentation very brief. If I can, just do the overhead. This is the Groover's Market rezone. And just to give you an idea of it, it's located in Palmetto. It's right there on 17th Avenue, or 17th Street in Palmetto. I always get them backwards. And 2nd Avenue West. And this is a facility that has been there since the 60s. And then in the early 2000s, there was a lot of problems, criminal activity that was going on. It was pretty run down. And the county, working with law enforcement, effectively had an injunction to shut the business down. The property has now changed hands. The new owner, Frank Esfor, is also the owner, if you're familiar with like the Ace Hardware in Palmetto. He also owns MP Markets, which are small supermarkets that have been very successful. And he acquired this property with the idea to reopen it as an MP Market. He's worked with law enforcement, had neighborhood meetings, and worked with staff. Kyle has worked with the county attorney's office, and we've had the injunction lifted. But part of the process is because the facility was shut down for so long. There's actually a residence and there's some offices that never shut down. But the actual store is a little over 4,000 square feet. Because it was shut down for more than a year, and the property is zoned RSF 4.5, which is the zoning the county placed on it back when they originally put the zonings in place, we can't reopen it without changing the zoning to something that allows a neighborhood commercial facility. And because it's over 4,000 feet, actually over 3,000 square feet, it has to be neighborhood commercial medium. So that's actually what the request is to place a zoning in here that will allow the uses that have historically occurred on the property to occur again under a new owner, working with law enforcement to add security cameras and try and make sure it's a great asset to the community. The community can use it, they want it, but this is sort of a technical thing that we have to do to get this accomplished. So that's basically a quick presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Do we have any board questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we'll move on to staff presentation, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Okay, good morning all. Alicia Henry for staff, and I have not been sworn.
Statements and representations you will present to the board are truthful and accurate.
Yes. Okay. Okay, great. All right, so Mr. Gauze has done a very good job with explaining, giving a good synopsis as to what this project is about. So I'm just going to go over the positive, negatives, and the mitigating measures. All right, so as he stated, they're trying to reopen a grocery store there. So the positive aspects, the anticipated development under neighborhood commercial medium will implement a range of potential uses for the Res 6 future land use category. There is existing water, sewer, and other public facilities to serve the development of the project site. The project site has frontage along 17th Street West, which is classified as a urban collector. Okay, well, with this particular project, I couldn't find any negative aspects for this project proposed. With the mitigating factors, applicant will adhere to all required standards of the Land Development Code with this proposed project site. The applicant has collaborated with law enforcement to understand techniques such as CPTED, which stands for Crime Prevention through Environmental Design Strategies to help prevent future crime on proposed sites. Any questions?
Do we have? Great job. Do we have any questions? All right. Let's move on to public comment. Do we have any public comment on this item? Okay. And before you start, ma'am, have you been sworn? I have not yet. Okay. Is there anyone else who's intending to speak who has not yet been sworn? If so, go ahead and stand up, be sworn now, so we get it all done at once.
All right, do you swear or affirm? Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the factual statements and representations you will present to the board are truthful and accurate? I do.
Yes. Okay, Madam Chair and members of the board, my name is Mary Hamilton, and I grew up in the neighborhood, so I do remember when Gruber's was there, and I still live in the neighborhood. I've been there, a homeowner, for over 40 years. And today I'm opposing to having that business reopened because of the crime that it brings to our neighborhood. And secondly, because of the school that is so close. I haven't seen anywhere in Manatee County where a school can be so closely located to a store. So we don't need to bring that crime back into the neighborhood. The children, there are a lot of neighborhood kids that walk to school in the morning. And those same kids have to walk home in the afternoon. I don't know if any of you have observed it, but they're middle school students. And they can be impacted by this business reopening. We don't want to wait for an incident to happen. Basically, what I want to say is that I do not want it reopened. 17th Street is heavily congested as it stands now. Going to school in the morning, I almost didn't make it here by 9 because I left an hour ahead of time, but the road is really congested. This is going to bring more congestion into that area. 2nd Avenue, the same thing. It's highly congested. The kids are walking to school. We're going to bring more traffic, which creates a danger for them. Having lived in that neighborhood for over 50 years, I don't see the benefit that it's going to bring to the neighborhood. We do not need a neighborhood grocery store. So much has changed since that store first opened. We now have city buses that can get anywhere where people where they need to be. There is a grocery service that can bring the grocery to your house. I just don't see the need for it. What we need in that community is housing. Housing seems to be the problem in Manatee County. There's a housing struggle that we have. There are a lot of people that are homeless, and come October, they can't be homeless. They have to have a place to live. This is another suggestion. Why not bring housing there for the homeless, for the elderly, something that would benefit the community? I'm concerned, will alcohol beverages, if this store is open, be sold there? Will cigarettes and things of that nature? It's going to conflict with the kids walking through there to go to school. It's going to conflict with me trying to get on 17th Street to go where I need to go, because 17th and 2nd Avenue are heavily traveled. There are other uses where money can be made that are needed in this area.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Betty Sales Rose. Okay, I had a talk with Mary about the area. Now, I was raised in the area because I graduated from Lincoln Memorial High School. And I used to stop by Pat Gruber when it was a store. Now, I remember in 2011 when it was closed up because they say crime, but crime had happened on the outside, but they put it that it did happen at the grocery store. It been closed for so long, and like you say, when they put in about the homeless, I prefer, I went to the first meeting, Mary said she didn't receive a letter because nobody know, her church didn't know anything about it in the area, so I don't know, did Bob send out enough letters to everybody in the area for they can have to say so about the store opening back up. But you look at it, it's quiet in the area. And then another thing I look at too, now I go to Primo, and I'm not a racial person. I'm not biased at all. I love everybody. And I don't see any whites or any minorities working in that store. Now, we did ask the question at the meeting. He said he'll bring them on. and everything, but how long they gonna stay there, the whites and the black working in the store. And then another thing I noticed, in our area, what we eat is not what they have in their store. So they're gonna bring that to the storefront if they reopen Groover Market back up. And another thing I don't like, and I know the guy is losing a lot of money for that store being closed that long, but the burden should be on Shirley Groover Bryant, because they know that store was a nuisance. They should have let him know that before, they transact that deal. Now, in a way, I'm not for the reopen, because now Lincoln is getting more kids. They have to walk, and like she said, that area is very congested. If you're coming down 2nd Avenue, ain't nobody gonna let you in coming down 17th. So what I say, I think this project should be on hold until the neighborhood have some say-so about it. Now, I can't tell you all what to do up there as commissioners, but I get tired of people coming to me say I ain't know anything about it, but I went to the meeting that was held at the Palmetto Youth Center. And what they were saying that I did ask the question was white and black gonna be hired in the store. And that's my main concern. They need jobs too. And I know you're gonna look out for your other people, but what you bringing that store back open in our neighborhood, so white and black should be able to work there. So, and I'm not against Bob, because I know him for years from the school board.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, so now do we have any questions from our board for applicants, staff, or citizens? All right. Do we have any closing comments from staff?
Okay, what I would like to say that 17th Street East is an urban collector. It is actually within an activity node to handle the additional capacity according to studies that have been done. So she is very concerned about increased traffic, but it is very close to, it is within the activity node. Yes, so let me see if I can, nope. Yeah, so that was one of my positive aspects for this particular project, where it is within a commercial locational, it does meet commercial locational criteria as well for this particular project. So, okay.
Thank you very much, Ms. Henry.
You're welcome.
And now do we have any applicant rebuttal?
Thank you, Bob Cause. Yeah, thank you. Just a couple. As was mentioned, we had a neighborhood meeting. We had it at the Palmetto Youth Center. And actually, my client, Frank, brought a bunch of food from the deli from the MP Market that's located in Palmetto to the event. I can assure you, the people that attended the neighborhood workshop ate the food. It's pretty good. I took some of it home myself. And he does try to hire local people. The property is close to Lincoln Middle School. But it is separated from Lincoln Middle School by a 6-foot chain link fence and a ditch. So the odds of a student getting to this site from the Lincoln site is slim. And there's a racetrack actually closer to Lincoln Middle School that does sell alcohol and cigarettes. So it's not like we're introducing something new to the neighborhood. The bottom line is we've tried to work with law enforcement to try and talk about what are the things we can do to make it safe. We recognize back in 2010 and 2011, when the county and the sheriff's office worked to shut it down, there was a problem. And it has sat there vacant for over a decade. And Frank bought it. Frank's got a track record of operating successful small markets that serve neighborhoods. He tries to make sure they're safe. And he wants to have something that is a positive factor for the community. He's working very hard to try and make sure that happens. We had the deputy from the sheriff's office there at the neighborhood workshop to make sure that, anything he heard and anything that we could do, that we do it. So we're working hard to make this a positive thing for the community. I think it will be. And we did send notices out to everybody within a 500-foot radius. However, I think the church that was being referenced is located outside the 500-foot reference. But there were people at the workshop that were very aware of the churches not getting notified. And we just said, well, this is the process that we have to use. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we are at the point of deliberations. I'd like to say a couple of things. So this is in my district. And I will say I hear the concerns, and I'm very sensitive to those. I've also heard time and time again from residents in this area that there is a food desert, that they want to see a good place to get fresh local food. And that has been that's been something that's been difficult in this area for a long time. And I think that with the help of law enforcement, I think that this can be a safe and successful market that can provide that fresh local food that people really need in the community. So I understand the concerns, but I will be voting in favor of this rezone. All right, and with that being said, is there any additional comment, any additional deliberation?
Is that from anyone?
Just our board at this point. Okay, at this point, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Cruz, a second by Commissioner Turner. If we could all cast our votes now. And it is approved by a vote of 5-0 with Commissioner Ron absent. Moving on, we now have number 10.
Item number 10 is PDC PDR 2343ZP Savannah at Lakewood Ranch, Meritage Homes of Florida. This is a rezone of approximately 5.23 acres, which is part of Savannah at Lakewood Ranch. A residential development approved for a total of just over 304 acres from PDR, Plan Development Residential, to PDC, Plan Development Commercial Zoning, retaining the PDR in the remaining just under 300 acres, approving a preliminary site plan to allow 10,125 square foot of commercial retail uses and 12,000 square feet of child care center on the 5.23 acre site, maintaining the previously approved 475 single-family detached residential units and repealing the ordinance in conflict, generally located on the south side of State Road 64, approximately 800 feet east of the intersection of State Road 64 and Rye Road. And your staff presenter is Ms. Laura Gonzalez.
Thank you very much. Do we have any ex parte communications on this item? Okay, let's go ahead with our presentation by the applicant.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Caleb Grimes with the law firm of Grimes Galvano, and I have been sworn. I'm pleased to be here to represent Casto NLP, who is the proposed developer of this site. I'll be introducing Katie Labar in just a few minutes to go over the specifics of the plan that we have today. But before doing that, I just want to bring you up to date on a few things. The site itself, as you know, is along State Road 64. Fronts on is adjacent to State Road 64 and is between the entrance to Savannah at Lakewood Ranch and White Eagle Boulevard, which of course becomes Rye Road. So it's right there on the road, and it is part of a rezoning that was put together that had a preliminary site plan approved, and at that time this was shown as open space. Following that, the Savannah at Lakewood Ranch was platted. This site was not included in the plat, so it was never part of the actual subdivision. It somehow was, it was just kind of left out, and we're here today to try to
update the preliminary site plan, rezone it to a PDC to go forward with that. And a little bit of historical information on it. This site came before the board about, I think it was a little over 3 years ago, with a request to rezone it to general commercial, just a general commercial zoning designation. And that received a lot of criticism, and I think rightly so. A lot of criticism because it was just general commercial. You didn't know what was going in. A lot of things could happen on that site with it just a straight zoning that is not controlled with planned development zoning itself. There were concerns raised by the neighborhood of what uses could be put on that site, what the intensity could be on the site. And one that, with which I really agree with them, is that there's a big nice lake on the entrance to Savannah at Lakewood Ranch that nobody knew what could happen to that lake. And so the developer, Casto, went back and put together a revised approval request to request it to be planned development commercial so that all of those various issues could be addressed. It basically, for example, it went from 79,000 square foot potential down to a 12,000 foot child care center and a 10,125 foot of retail, and saving the lake out front. And they put a limitation of uses on it that eliminated many uses that would not be appropriate there in any stretch. So they prepared a new application, if you will, a new site plan to show all this. They had neighborhood meetings to show the new plan. Following that, we then came and we had last week the Planning Commission. At the Planning Commission, the neighborhood representatives, and I will say that there was a group called, I hope I get it right, Save Our Savannah? Right. Save Our Savannah, represented by Mr. Dan Lobeck. And I hate to admit this, but Dan and I go back to college days. We were fellow politicos running for offices at University of Florida. And so we go way back. But anyway, they were there and had some questions, and representatives of the Homeowners Association had some further questions. So Mr. Lobeck and I got together, and we felt like this is a good opportunity to sit down and, instead of arguing about these things and not knowing, is to come up with a plan that is acceptable to all parties and all sides, that will be a good neighborhood serving use for that property. It is on State Road 64. It's an appropriate use. It's consistent with your comprehensive plan and so forth. So we met, and I will have to say that I really want to thank and congratulate our respective clients. Israel worked real hard on it. Everybody worked hard to get something together that we could all agree on. And I am really pleased to tell you today that we have done that. And so we have submitted to you a revised preliminary site plan that is in the record, that puts the limitations on these uses, that clearly saves the lake. I'm going to let Katie show you the plan. I'm jumping ahead there. That accomplishes these things, and we have a revised ordinance that has the stipulations in them. I'm not 100% sure if the final stipulations, I'm not sure if they've been submitted, but the clerk has them, and they are consistent with what Mr. Lobeck and I and our clients have agreed upon. And so we are therefore going to ask you to approve this matter, which effectively is changing the zoning from this one tract to PDC, and it saves the lake out front, and accomplishes the things we've worked on. And I'll also say that we're actually putting a covenant of record to assure that this goes into the future. So with that in mind, I'm now going to let Katie, with the few minutes I left her, tell you outline the plan itself.
Thank you. Do you have, can you be
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Katie Labar with Stantec, representing Casto, and I have been sworn. Just want to let you know who we have with us today. We have a representative from Casto, Mr. Dan Moyer is in the room with us. The primary purpose of my discussion is really to help orient you to the site, share with you some of the details about the site plan and the changes that we've made in the last several days since Planning Commission. And Caleb went through a lot of these details, but I'm just going to run through a couple of them anyway for you. The site plan has been amended to show commercial development on this 5.23 acres east of White Eagle Boulevard and west of Savannah Palms Court. Site access will be exclusively from State Road 64 with a right-in, right-out only driveway. And the site has been designed to preserve the existing lake that is the main entry feature to Savannah. So as you can see, the proposed uses will be located to the west of the lake, and the uses that are proposed are true neighborhood-serving commercial. This preliminary site plan before you includes a 12,000 square foot childcare center, which is the easternmost building. I've highlighted that in yellow, and you can see that on your screen. And then a 10,125 foot retail, commercial, inline retail building that also has a drive-through end cap. In addition to this, so this plan, as you all probably very well know, is binding. The future plans that come through have to be in accordance with this preliminary site plan. But in addition to what is drawn and shown on the site plan, dimensional criteria like setbacks, lot width, maximum building height, all of those elements are noted in the notes in the site plan. And so not only do we have a picture, we also have very specific criteria that must be met, and staff evaluates and confirms that with future final site plans. Just for perspective, the comprehensive plan contemplates a maximum floor area ratio of 0.35, which translates for this site to a little over almost 80,000 square feet of building area. And this preliminary site plan shows 22,125 square feet, which is a 0.1 FAR, so significantly less than the maximum potential that could be contemplated. Roadway and perimeter buffers are also shown on the site plan, and all of those buffers comply with the requirements of the Land Development Code. I put a green line on this plan, and you see that, and I noted that there is no access to Prairie View Drive because I wanted to make that abundantly clear as we talked through the site plan today. The list of permitted uses is also included in the preliminary site plan in the notes section, and I just wanted to kind of put that up there for you to just take a quick look at. As you look through that list, you can tell, again, this is a significantly limited list of uses. And again, true neighborhood-serving commercial. In closing, we prepared and submitted a complete application that was in full compliance with the Comprehensive Plan and Land Development Code. The application has been very thoroughly vetted by your professional staff. It's my professional opinion as an AICP certified planner that this application complies with the requirements of the Comprehensive Plan and Land Development Code, and we respectfully ask for your approval today. Our team is here and available to answer any questions that you might have. And then in closing, second closing, I wanted to clarify because there was a question raised about whether or not the final agreed stipulations were in front of you. And I can tell you that the ordinance that's been presented to you today does include the stipulations as negotiated and agreed to. And I will point you to them. Let me just.
I'd like to read them to everybody for.
Okay, that's fine.
Apart from Mr. Lobeck, so if you will.
Okay, right here. But the clerk has this copy. I'll let Caleb read the stipulations into the record nonetheless.
We both Mr. Lobeck and I agree that we want there to be no confusion about the main stipulations that we've agreed to on this property. So I am going to read what is section A8, which is that the development of the 5.23 acre parcel, zone PDC, Plan Development Commercial, the PDC parcel, shall be subject to the following additional limitations. A, there shall be no driveway connections or other access points constructed from Prairie View Drive to the PDC parcel. The sole vehicular access point to the external roadways for the PDC parcel shall be the driveway from State Road 64 depicted on the preliminary site plan. This is not intended to change the driveway connections to the property to the west. B, the lake on the PDC parcel shall not be relocated or reduced in size. C, the uses on the PDC parcel shall be limited to those uses listed on the PSP, which, by the way, Katie put on the board. The area of the PDC parcel designated on the site plan for the child care use shall not be converted to another use. We feel, and those are the ones, we feel very, very strongly that a child care is needed in this area. SMR thinks it's an important use, and we intend to have a child care there. Casto actually has someone that is prepared to go in, and believe it or not, several people wanting to be backups to that if there was a problem with it. So we think that's going to be something that's very important. So I understand that the clerk has that exact language, and that's what we would like to see passed. Be glad to answer any questions. Katie, sorry I kicked you out there. Anything?
Do we have any questions for the applicant? Oh, we have Commissioner Turner on the board.
No questions. I just want to thank the attorneys for getting together like this and molding it to suit the residents and what we need there. Definitely childcare is a big one because we look at it as a government. How do we serve even our employees here? And there's a real shortage. So thanks for getting together. Makes it a whole lot easier and explains why the room is not full. We were trying to figure that out, but I just want to show my appreciation. Thank you.
We like to surprise you every once in a while.
All right, we have Commissioner Bearden on the board.
Thank you, Mrs. Chair. So everybody's good then, is what?
I presume Mr. Lobeck will get
Or
up.
are you guys going to
wanna
come up
get
and give a
during-
presentation next?
Now or?
We'll get there.
We'll get there? Okay, just making sure. All right.
To my knowledge, we're all good.
Okay.
We're all signed up.
Okay.
We're inked. We're
Okay.
going forward. And again, I really appreciate Mr. Lobeck's work on it, my office work on it, but more importantly, the parties who had the stake in this, the hard work that they did. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to our staff presentation.
Hi, good morning. This is Laura Gonzalez with Development Services Department. I agree with the applicant's presentation, and as discussed in the staff report, the project complies with the comprehensive policies of the with the policies of the comprehensive plan and the applicable requirements of the Land Development Code. So if you have any question for me, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you, Laura. Do we have any questions for staff? Okay. Thank you very much. Let's move on to public comment. Mr. Lobeck?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Honorable Commissioners. My name is Dan Lobeck, and I'm pleased to represent the Save Our Savannah at Lakewood Ranch Association, Inc., a group that was formed to secure standing in the event we needed to challenge this, as we did in a different capacity 3 years ago. This has been contentious, to understate the case. I do a lot of this land use representation, have for over 30 years, and this one has taken the cake. And, you know, one thing that Caleb did touch on, but I do want to emphasize has been a major concern of the neighborhood is traffic on our neighborhood roads. You know, this has been planned, and it was watered down a little bit in the version we had before our settlement, but we were concerned about traffic running through our private roads, our entrance, and then Prairie View Drive along the neighborhood that the HOA has to maintain. And there were a lot of issues around that that I no longer need to get into. But I want to thank Caleb and his client, Casto, and Meritage Homes, and all the people in Savannah. Large subdivision, over 400 homes. You're going to expect differences of opinion, but there was very strong feelings about this. Caleb approached me after the Planning Commission hearing, and I did not think in 1 week we could bring together a complex, detailed, comprehensive settlement. And it is to his credit and to his firm and to his clients and to Meritage and their attorneys that we're here today to offer what, in my experience, county commissioners like above anything else, and that's a win-win solution. This keeps the traffic off our roads. It controls the amount of commercial development. Provides a child care center that a lot of the people in the neighborhood will agree is positive if we don't have all that traffic dropping them on and off through our roads, as we have here today. You know, I've done some of these before with the agreement and the covenant, and it's a way to go. This is the second one today. Pat Neal agreed with his neighborhood on stipulations and in a private agreement. So hopefully you'll get more of these with the commission going forward. So again, yes, we do endorse this, and I have with me Israel Arteaga, the president of our homeowner group, and Stephen Hayes, the president of the Homeowners Association, both signatories on this settlement, to speak to you directly with their endorsements, if I may.
Thank you very much, sir. And you were sworn, right, Mr. Lobeck?
Yes, it was. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Israel Arteaga, Manatee County resident, and I have been sworn.
Thank you.
Madam Chairperson, County Commissioners, thank you for your time this morning. I'm here as president of Save Our Savannah Group and represent a group of homeowners in the Savannah neighborhood. The effort of our membership regarding this project has been ongoing for 4 years, as you know, both the attorneys had stated previously. So I'm pleased to share with you that we have resolved our differences, and we endorse the rezoning and PSP as revised as part of a settlement agreement. Would like to say thank you to Dan Lobeck for his efforts over the 4 years in achieving this agreement. Thank you. Caleb Grimes, Savannah HOA, Casto and Meritage for their professionalism throughout the negotiations. So we would ask for your endorsement as well. So thank you guys. That's all I have. And to answer Jason, we're good. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Stephen Hayes. I am the president of the board of directors of Savannah at Lakewood Ranch, and I have been sworn. I'll make a quick statement. Israel pretty much hit it on the head. I'm happy to say that we've come to an agreement. The board of directors voted 3-0 in favor of signing the agreement and endorsing the rezoning application of the 5 1/4 acres at the front of Savannah. Thank you to everybody involved. You know, a week ago, I didn't think we'd be standing here this quick. But, you know, most of all, I want to thank Israel and the team from Save Our Savannah who really did the hard work on our side. So I appreciate your time and look forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all we have.
Wonderful.
This meeting is moving along. Any questions or any feedback that you'd like us to respond to? If not, thank you. And again, we urge unanimous approval of this rezoning and preliminary site plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions from the board for applicant, staff, or any of our citizens? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate everybody coming to agreement. I do know the history of this particular piece of property, and working together is the best way to do it. So appreciate everybody working together on this project. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any closing comments from staff? Any applicant rebuttal? Okay. Do we have Any commissioners who'd like to say anything else? I will just quickly say thank you all so much for working together on this and for coming to a resolution that is acceptable for everyone.
Yeah, I'll say something to her. Yeah, I'll just say again, even though Dan and Caleb are ignoring me. I just want to thank both of you. I mean, I the one who pushed back against this a couple of years ago. I still believe there's the theory that this could just be classified as open space, but you worked out an agreement. I know Israel is very passionate about this for years now, and if you all agree to it, then we have no reason to step in. And I hope other people see this. We have a lot of issues where a neighborhood has one complaint and a developer has another request, and they never see eye to eye, and it's a black and white vote up here. This was a scenario where you came up with a good solution for the road, good solution for uses, and I hope other people do that. I hope we have hour and 15-minute long meetings where Neal Communities comes in and where Casto comes in, and we can get to a mutually good place for development going forward. So I want to thank all of you for coming in with a thoughtful presentation that we can all get behind.
Okay. And with that being said, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Turner, which has been seconded by Commissioner Van Ostenbridge. If everyone could cast their votes now. And it is approved by a vote of 5-0 with Commissioner Ron absent. That is our last hearing on the agenda. Do we have any county attorney comments?
No comments, Madam Chair.
Okay. Do we have any comments from Ms. Knapp?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. Do we have any commissioner agenda items or comments? I do have something that I would like to discuss really quickly. I attended a luncheon yesterday, which was excellent, and it really kind of got my wheels turning about an issue that we have related to childcare, actually. So Fiona McFarland, our House rep, or a House rep in Sarasota, has been working really, really hard on the issue of childcare. And I think that a lot of people know that we have a shortage of childcare in the state, in the community. As someone with 3 young kids, I see it firsthand. And so she has been working hard at the state level to see what can we do to encourage more childcare throughout the state. And so it got my wheels turning, along with Deputy Administrator DePaul, of what can we do locally to encourage the building and operation of additional child care centers. And so one thing that we discussed a little bit, which I'd like to see explored a little bit further, is maybe some incentives for the development of child care centers. So for example, maybe treat them in the same way that we treat affordable housing, maybe put them on an accelerated schedule, maybe look at waiving impact fees to see if we can get child care centers moving a little bit more quickly through the process. So those are my thoughts. I don't know if we have any additional discussion about that.
I can share just, I saw Ms. Rachel shake her head. We'll look at incentives for childcare. We can also look at the way the zoning districts are set up, in which ones they are allowed. From an impact fee standpoint, though, the Florida statute will prohibit you from waiving.
Okay.
Right now, by Florida statute, you are only able to waive by right or reduce affordable housing, and that is it.
Understood. So what, if there's anything that we can do, let's maybe explore it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much. And unless there's anything else, we are adjourned.